If you've ever built a raised garden bed, you know the sinking feeling when you pull back mulch and spot those pale, wriggling termites tunneling through the soil. They're silent destroyers, chewing through wooden frames, compost layers and root zones without warning. You can lose a whole structure before you even realize what's happening. Most people reach for chemical barriers or pressure-treated wood, but there's a better, safer and older solution, one that farmers and settlers used long before pesticides were even invented. It starts with one of the simplest materials on Earth, cardboard. But not just any cardboard. The right kind, used the right way, can repel termites naturally while fortifying your soil. This isn't a gimmick. It's practical soil science backed by decades of traditional practice. The secret lies in how cardboard changes the soil environment termites depend on. Termites aren't drawn to wood because they like it. They're drawn to the cellulose and moisture balance inside it. They thrive in low-oxygen zones, rich in decomposing organic matter. When you build a raised bed, especially on top of old grass or mulch, you unintentionally create their perfect environment, warm, damp, and full of cellulose. The solution isn't poison, it's control. When cardboard is laid as a soil base and properly conditioned, it alters that environment. Instead of feeding termites, it disrupts their food source and habitat. Cardboard decomposes from the top down when exposed to air and microbes, not from below where termites feed. The key difference is oxygen exposure. By layering and moistening cardboard strategically, you accelerate aerobic breakdown, oxygen-rich decomposition, which termites avoid. They prefer anaerobic, low-oxygen decay. This method has been used in regenerative agriculture systems for decades, especially in tropical climates where termites are most aggressive. By creating an oxygenated decomposition zone, you draw in fungi and beneficial bacteria that literally outcompete termites. The result is a natural, living barrier that deters them from entering your garden beds altogether. The cardboard treatment process is what makes the difference between attraction and repulsion. Here's where most gardeners go wrong. They throw dry cardboard under their raised beds as a weed barrier and forget about it. So, a lot of folks just throw dry cardboard under their raised beds as a weed barrier and, well, forget about it. But honestly, that's a guaranteed termite invitation. Dry cardboard is basically cellulose just waiting to be eaten. Now, when it's treated the right way, it actually turns into a microbe-rich fungal layer that helps repel pests. The trick here is to soak and inoculate your cardboard before it ever touches the soil. You can do this by submerging it in water mixed with wood ash or even citrus peel extract. Both of those contain compounds that termites really hate. Wood ash raises pH, creating an alkaline environment that disrupts termite digestive enzymes. And, citrus oil contains limonene, a natural termite repellent used even in organic pest control. When cardboard absorbs these compounds, it not only becomes unappetizing, but actually actively hostile to termites. After soaking, lay the cardboard directly over your soil base in overlapping sheets, 2 or 3 layers thick. Then just sprinkle a thin coating of compost or aged manure over the top to introduce beneficial microbes. Those microbes begin colonizing the cellulose immediately, outpacing any termite that tries to settle in. Within a few weeks, the cardboard becomes part of a living layer that breaks down cleanly into humus instead of rot. Settlers in the American South used a similar technique, often mixing lye water or crushed lime with paper and laying it under seed beds to keep wood borers and termites at bay. It worked not because it killed them outright, but because it changed the chemistry of the soil in a way that made it impossible for them to thrive. The microbial shift that follows keeps your bed protected long term. Once the cardboard layer is established, it doesn't just sit there, you know. It transforms your soil biology from the bottom up. The carbon-rich layer feeds actinomycetes, those filamentous bacteria that produce natural antibiotics and repel wood-feeding insects. These microbes, they're responsible for that earthy smell of good soil and are one of nature's first lines of defense against decay pests. In field trials conducted across subtropical regions, soil zones containing decomposed cardboard showed 60% fewer termite colonies compared to untreated soil. Pretty impressive, right? That's because the balance of fungi and actinomycetes tipped in favour of the decomposer's termites can't digest. Essentially, the cardboard recruits the right allies for you. You'll also notice improved soil moisture regulation. The cardboard acts as a slow sponge, absorbing excess water and releasing it back when the soil dries out. Termites can't tolerate those constant fluctuations. They need stable, damp environments. If your raised bed is already infested, don't panic. You can still use this same process as a recovery method. So just remove the top mulch, expose the infested layer to air and sunlight for a day to drive termites out. Then layer your treated cardboard directly on top. After that, cover it with compost and resume watering as normal. Within just a few weeks, microbial colonization will overtake the remaining termite tunnels. The population will move out naturally, unable to digest or survive in the new microbial environment. Cardboard barriers can protect not just your soil, but your wooden structures too. You know, termite damage often starts at the corners and undersides of raised beds. It's a sneaky little problem that can really catch gardeners off guard. So here's the thing. This is where moisture tends to collect and the soil contact is at its highest. But don't worry, you can actually extend the same cardboard method vertically to protect these vulnerable areas. Just wrap the inner sides of your wooden frames with soaked and treated cardboard before filling the bed. It's a simple step that can make a big difference. And what's great is that the cardboard will cling to the wood, forming a biodegradable protective skin. It's like giving your garden bed a little armour naturally. As the layer dries and adheres, it creates an alkaline interface that deters termites from tunnelling into the wood. Over time, it will decompose harmlessly, leaving behind a mineral residue that continues to repel pests. This is far safer and more sustainable than chemical sealants, especially when growing food crops. If your garden beds are metal or stone, you can still benefit. Lining the base with treated cardboard stabilizes temperature and reduces weed intrusion while maintaining that protective microbial network. It's a simple, overlooked trick that can extend the life of your entire garden system. The ancient principle behind it all is balance, not eradication. Long before the age of pesticides, traditional farmers understood that pest control came from maintaining equilibrium. You didn't destroy insects, you made the environment unsuitable for them. The cardboard method works on that same principle. It restores oxygen, introduces competing life, and actually alters chemistry in favour of the plants. Termites aren't exterminated, they simply leave because the soil no longer meets their needs. This is what separates a short-term fix from a self-sustaining solution. Once established, the cardboard barrier keeps working season after season, and each time you refresh it with new organic layers, the system just gets stronger. It's a low-cost, high-impact method that protects not only your garden, but also the ecosystem that supports it. So, if you've been fighting termite damage year after year, stop battling the symptom and start rebuilding the soil environment itself. Use the same principle our ancestors used. Layer, soak, and feed your soil with the right kind of carbon. If this guide helped you protect your raised bed naturally and reclaim control over your soil health, make sure to subscribe to Hydrohaven. Share this video with another grower who's losing their garden to termites and remind them the solution doesn't come from chemicals. It comes from understanding how nature defends itself.